Alright, so here we go to game 3, and it's going to be this table right here. There's two big kind of hill rock outcropping features in the middle. There's a watchtower, a couple burnt wrecks, and then this water is all rough ground. It's passable, but rough ground. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because we're playing demolition. Have to get to the other guy's base, and it has to be deployed in a certain amount of inches. But there's a corridor of death down the middle, and then slow slogging around the outsides. And I actually win the roll, and I pick table side, and I'll get into that in a minute. And I screw up is what I do. But here's my opponent's beautifully painted Soviet Army. It's very, very nice. He's got like two veteran submachine gun squads, the free squad, medium machine gun with a gun shield. He's got two anti-tank rifles. Let's see, what else does he have? Let's take a look. He's got that little light tank. He's got a light anti-tank gun with a coaxial medium machine gun. That little board there is his objective marker, and it's actually a gaming table. Has a couple little teeny tiny tanks on it and a dice, and it's pretty neat. It's actually really neat. He's got a medium mortar and a couple other squads of infantry of some sort. He's got a couple of veterans. Maybe the submachine gunners were regular, and the other ones were veterans. Yeah. So there it is again. He's got a anti-tank gun, a light anti-tank gun, and yeah. So there we go. Camera kicks on after I've done my deployment, and I won the roll, and I picked this side, and then I quickly realized that was a big mistake, because I was going to have my trucks in outflank and come in, but there's water feature on both sides of his side of the board, and they actually extend quite a bit down. So even if I was on the other side, I don't think I would have been able to come in on the side far away from the camera, but the other side is water all the way down, so you're not going to be able to drive a truck through rough ground. The second thing I do is I do my normal deployment in my mind of what I was going to do, which is anti-tank gun, light mortar, two grenadier squads, because it's had an 18-inch deployment zone, right? 18 inches in, which is far. And then yeah, so and I put my anti-tank gun there in the middle, behind that little soft cover of barbed wire. What I should have done, and as he's deploying, I'm like, what am I doing? I should have put both trucks where those grenadier squads are, behind those cliffs. Should have been loaded up, and they should have been zooming. I should have just stalled. Not that I could stall very much. And I should have just raced up on a run move over these hills and as close to the objective as I could get, and then bail out, or even if it gets blown up, go out towards the thing and just try to weather this pelt of bullets. And then I could have brought my grenadiers in and other assets like my AA gun to defend mine, and then try to get a win that way. But that's not what I did. I did it the exact opposite. So the only way I have to take my trucks, see, he's got his deployment in there now, so we're getting ready to start the turn. He's got squads on both sides of that gap. He's got his anti-tank gun in the middle. He's got his machine gun in the middle. So I advanced my squad up onto this rocky outcropping. Actually, it's my light mortar. Okay, he hit with a 6 with his mortar against my anti-tank gun and destroyed it. That sucked. So my light mortar comes up, fires at his spotter, and does kill him. So his mortar doesn't have a whole lot to shoot at. I do a run order with my medium machine gun, which I had put at the base of that tower, and I go into the actual tower, and so I'm in the tower, and then he starts promptly shooting at it. I thought it was cool just to have a medium machine gun up there. We considered that hard cover, and I just thought it was cool. But then he starts lighting it up, and I can't go down or anything. I probably did that too soon. And he actually rolls real well, and I fail my check, and that's it for the machine gun team. So for the sake of coolness, I lost a unit. But anyway, I was talking about the corridor. So you see where that downed airplane is. That hill is a slow rise. It's got a nice crest on it, so you can come on the camera side down that edge where those palm trees are and come down this little path. We said at the beginning of the game, those cliffs, you can scale them with an advance order and get to the top. And so he's got a squad up there by that airplane deployed and starting there, because it was 19 inches in, or maybe advanced up there. I've got a medium machine gun off screen on the far top of the board, and I think I spray some fire on them. And then I advance my squad up into the base of that tower, because we had said that was soft cover, and I get some shots down on him with my light machine gun. And I don't know if any rifles are in range, but I get a pin on that unit. Here I kind of just go, what the hell, advance over the thing there, and I'm going to put another pin on those guys, try to get some shots on them. And I'm able to pick off a couple guys and put a second pin on there. That's a regular squad. His inexperience is the one by his anti-tank gun. So he had called an artillery strike down here by this tower, and he rolls a 6, so it's 12 inches. Now I got a light mortar and a squad there. Neither one take a hit, but they both take a pin or a couple pins. So it's not a big deal. And that is gone now. So then we're gonna start turn 2. So I'm still thinking, okay, if my trucks wait till the last things to do, and I can nullify that squad up there by the airplane, I can run order in and down towards this ravine thing, because you can see there's nowhere else to really drive. Right down the gut doesn't really work. I think there's a piece of barbed wire that you can't see, yeah, kind of in the middle there, so it'd be hard to get around those obstacles. I activate these guys, clear the pin, go ahead and do a fire order. What I probably should have been doing was just waiting and going down, or going in an ambush, and then go down if he fired at me and shoot at him if he moved. You know, that's a smart play on that, and I wasn't doing the smart play. I was getting a dice and I was just shooting. An ambush would have been much better there, because then it's like, you move, I fire at you. You just stand and shoot at me, then I go down. But didn't do that. So my anti-tank gun being gone, I'm not too worried about his tank, because it's a light tank with a light anti-tank gun. But I do have my AA truck still, and I'm itching to engage some targets at range with it. So I'm sitting here mentally, here comes, he's gonna come in a run order with a veteran squad, and I remind him that the water's all rough, because if it wasn't, I would be in outflank with my trucks on the left side here, and I would dart in like a steamroller with both trucks on turn 4. But my squad up on top of the hill engaging the unit next to the airplane. I think I'd gone down at the beginning of turn 2. I figured I'd just stall there. So I come in on an advance order with this AA truck. And I probably should have been a little farther to the right, because there's a nice rocky outcropping. I didn't really look at his tank too much. I wanted to get a clear shot at those guys. Probably could have gotten a spot where he couldn't see me at all, but he's firing at me through hard cover, because more than half of my model is behind it's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but it's a long range hard cover shot. So he needs a 6 to hit me, and it's a light anti-tank gun, so +3, you need a 4 to glance me, 5 to penetrate. Not too worried. He does fire at me, and he misses, and then he brings some stuff in from reserve, like a medic, and he's asking me there about a clarification on if he does advance those guys, how does it work again. I said, yeah, just move. So here comes some anti-tank rifles. I guess he's probably seeing where I might try to come out with my trucks too. And turn 2, I actually failed with both my trucks. which is another reason why I brought my AA truck in to engage a little more aggressively than I would. One truck needed a 9 and the other truck needed a 8, and they both failed. Because they don't get to reroll any full strength, because even though neither one was full, but even if they were, wouldn't have been able to. But so that was kind of disheartening for me. I wanted to kind of run in on the top of this hill and engage that squad up on the thing, and then just basically drive right by them and end up down here in the middle. Bail out to the right where the anti-tank gun is in the inexperienced, and then use my wrecked trucks, which I'm sure you destroy, as cover to get to the objective. So here comes a light machine gun squad. They walk in, they fire some light machine guns, and long range. I don't think any cover from that angle, and I think I missed with all of them. So now they're kind of in some rough ground, but I just gonna keep him at bay. I'm not too happy about my squad up there with the tower. They're taking some pins, they're taking some damage. They took some pins from that artillery barrage as well. So start the next turn, and so his first thing he does is fire his light anti-tank gun at my AA truck. He needs a 6. He rolls a 6, and then he needs a 4 to glance, and he rolls a 5, and then he needs a 4 up to destroy me, and he rolls a 5. So my AA truck is out of the action, because when that came in, he's like, oh, and I fired at his vet squad with it, and I did like 3 casualties and a pin, and he's like, oh, that's a game changer. He didn't want to anywhere near the middle. So now I'm kind of screwed. I've got my forces committed both sides. The middle is wide open. The AA gun was my defense there. I've got my light machine gun squad deployed to the far left, and I've got a truck with 2 6-man squads in it, and my assault engineers in the other truck. So now he's starting to bring it, because he's pulling all the first dice, so I'm not able to go in ambush or anything. And he's coming up, he's spraying. At this point I'm like, I don't want to go down, so I stay up and I take a casualty and a pin. So I'm like, I can't really bring the pioneers in, the assault engineers down the middle very effectively. I can't get my other truck in there very effectively, but I gotta do something, right? So otherwise he's just gonna run right up the gut and get to my thing. There's his veterans that I shot with my AA gun. They were very happy to see that luck shot with the anti-tank gun. That's my fault. I should have brought my AA gun in a place where it couldn't be seen, right? This is game 3. If you've ever played in a GT, you start to get a little bit fuzzy-headed from playing all day. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire these guys again. This time I'm not moving, and I'm able to get a pin on, but I think I just killed one guy. And this is where I do pass with my truck with my assault engineers, and I just run it. He'd already activated on a down order with that squad up there by the airplane when I shot at it with my squad. So here they come. And I'm sure he thinks I'm going to hop out and flamethrower that squad, but I'm actually looking to maybe run down that little gap and just at the end of next turn and see what happens. But it's getting dicey at this point. Or I can advance up and come out on the top of that hill and then flamethrower down onto that inexperienced. So he brings another squad, and one that had failed before. It was really mobbed up here. I've got one squad, a beleaguered squad there to defend against it. Here comes the tank. When the tank comes in, I figure he's going to shoot at my truck. There's like a ledge that you can't quite see, so I'd have hard cover. He decides to spray machine guns on my medium machine gun team, because I had shot at his mortar, needing like a 6 to hit, or maybe a 5 to hit. He didn't like that, so he sprayed back at me. And that's his captain. Okay, so his captain is right there in front of the AA truck. He runs in. I'm sure he wants to snap 2 or whatnot. not captain, but lieutenant. Okay, my secret mission card is kill the lieutenant. So I'm like, if I can kill that guy, I can get, if I can get just a draw plus that's another 17. That's not so bad. If I can kill that lieutenant before the end of turn 4, I'll get 5. If I kill him after turn 4, I'll get 3. If I kill any model of a headquarter unit, I'll get 1 point. So here I decide to advance back down the hill. I leave my light machine gunner on the top of the thing right there. So I've got 5 shots. The loader's right below him. I've got the majority of my squad in not even be able to be seen. So I've actually got some firepower without exposing my squad. I mean, I can still take damages, but I figured I gotta keep up some sort of semblance of fire. And I got my squad in a little more safer spot. So I pick off, okay, my light mortar hits the lieutenant right there, right? I do 2 pins. I only kill 1 model at +1. He unfortunately passes his check, and 1 guy dies. So I'm like, oh, darn it, that would have been 5 points. I'd be happy with a 17. Looking at the mob of infantry around his token, yeah, it's a suicide mission to try to get to that at this point. So I go ahead and bring this truck in here. This is just going to be a defensive maneuver to protect my thing. I'm going to spray my medium machine gun at his lieutenant, and with small team movement, long range, I think soft cover, because I was, you know, just as a spray. Here comes these guys. It's 2 assault rifles, 2 submachine guns, and 2 rifles. I hop out over here behind this little barricade, and I do fire 2 rifles and miss. Come out on a run order with this other squad. Just want to get them in a defensive position to keep him from just mobbing the center. The only good news is that big chunk of blue in front of my thing is all rough ground, so he can't run full speed through it. Here comes the squad. These are inexperienced, and I had put my squad up on the top of that hill in ambush, and he forgot about that. I've got a shot down there with no cover, and I tear him up. Light machine gun and 8 rifle shots, and I kill a chunk of them. And they stay alive, but they roll their green check, and they roll a 1, and they take 6 more pins. So now there's 7 pins on that unit. If I get 1 more pin on it, it's destroyed. So that ambush was awesome, and the green check was even better. So starting the next turn, so it's not looking good. He gets first dice and decides to shoot at my truck, and thank goodness he misses. Here I'm like, before he does a rally, because he would rally on an 8. So I advance up, I fire, I think just my assault rifles were in range, long range, and my rifles, and I score a hit, and that actually kills him. So if you'd have done a rally there, that would have been bad, but I could see why I would want to shoot that tank while I had a chance before the truck drove away. I had forgotten to take that dice off, because they don't have that was an ambush that I'd done, so I put it back in the bag. So, alright, so I mean, we've got basically 2 turns to try to make something happen, and I'm thinking if I can just kill his lieutenant. So his lieutenant fails, he doesn't put an order dice on him yet, but he's forgotten about the lieutenant, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get that lieutenant. So I've got a light mortar zeroed in on a 2-up, but I have 2 pin markers on me from the artillery barrage still. So I have to pass on a 7. And I pass, and because he had tried to move that lieutenant, and I fired in it and I rolled a 1. So I've got 1 pin on me now. He failed his activation, so his lieutenant's still there. So I'm still zeroed in on a 2-up, and I've got 1 pin on me. I just need that light mortar to kill that guy. He's only a regular. Here comes the submachine gun squad, and they're gonna shoot me. I stay up because I've got hard cover. And I go ahead and elect, only kills one, and I elect to kill the light machine gunner. I didn't have to, but now the rest of my squad is hidden. Not hidden, but can't be seen. Here's his vets. Siberian vets. So it's like, here comes the Soviet Union. He's firing this mortar constantly at my medium machine gun. Can't score a hit. So, can't see much there. And, let's see. My truck took a pin from something, and I believe it got crew stunned. Here's my truck. I can see over my guys because I'm up on a hill, and I fire at his lieutenant, and I miss. He needs 7s because he's down. Small team, long range, soft cover. So I'm like, well, I can't get to where I want. So what I'm going to try to do is go through these guys, and then I can kind of, if he runs back behind this rock, maybe I can just shoot down on his head. I can't assault coming out, so I come out and I hit them with a bunch of submachine guns, and I finally kill something with a flamethrower. It actually hits them and does a bunch of wounds, and I think. No, maybe that wasn't this turn. Maybe I missed with the I missed with the flamethrower, but it didn't. But it didn't run out of fuel. He's on a run order there. He's like, okay. I'm like, oof. I've got a 6-man squad. I've got my 1 banged up squad here. So I run my lieutenant over here, right? Again, with the same idea that I need to get to his lieutenant, and who cares what else happens. His anti-tank rifle shoots me in the face. No, I had 2 pins from the immobilized, or not immobilized, but crew stun. So I cleared 1 pin on a run order. I get up there and I don't even shoot. I just run, and he starts trying to shoot an anti-tank rifle at me in the face, and he misses. So yeah, my lieutenant. I'm just thinking, I gotta kill his lieutenant. That's all I care about. His anti-tank gun just kind of rolls up there. So these guys advance into that rough ground, just kind of screen off the. I don't want to get in a position where he could assault me somewhere and then go into a consolidate on top of my thing. But I'm trying to just get some pin. Maybe I'll fail a check with one of these things. So there's that. Yeah, it's kind of sad that that squad didn't die up there on the top, but I don't really care. Other than I come down here and I've got a light machine gun, a couple light machine guns. The only target I have is, I think, an anti-tank rifle with hard cover, long range, small team. But I'm just trying to get in a position I'll be better used on the next turn. So he does a rally there and clears off all the pins on those guys. And I do a rally there and clear the pins off of my guys. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be going into 2 more turns left. Or, well, we got a couple more dice left. Because I haven't done anything with that squad on the top of the hill. I don't have a line of fire to that lieutenant. So I could run up there by the airplane, but I decided to run down here to do 2 things. One is if he tries to come right through the middle, is not going to be able to get to my... I mean, he's going to have to deal with those guys. 2, if the lieutenant doesn't move, or if he runs off to the right, I should be able to get far enough up to get a shot at him. And then I've got that squad on the top of the hill as well. So I don't know. You know, I just need to have that light mortar kill him. And of course, he goes. Yeah, on one of those sequences, I know I failed a morale check with my mortar with 1 pin, and so I missed on needing a 2, and then I failed a morale check. So I'm like, oh, son of a fuck. So now I'm just looking to get 3 points. I did kill 1 model out of a HQ unit, so I got 1 point. Here's anti-tank rifle, pops over the thing, and he's trying to shoot my lieutenant in the face. So I go down. So it's like, oh, he must have that same one. So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me if he gets his thing or not, but I don't want my lieutenant to die right away. So I move these guys up, and I can't make it far enough to get to where their lieutenant is, so I just advance. And I can't, and I'm just going to finish off that squad. That's annoyed me the entire game. That down order was very powerful. So now I don't have much in the way of being able to get the lieutenant. So I advance these guys, and I'm going to be able to get a shot from there. And it's like, this is it. This is it. So I've got quite a bit of firepower. And you get a little bit of a range check. And fire, movement, small team, maybe soft cover. And I actually score 3 hits, right? I need a 4-up to kill him. And I roll the 3 dice, and I get a 3, a 3, and a 2. And you see me dancing around back there in frustration. It's like, ugh. Blah, darn it. And they've already gone around and called time and said this is going to be the last turn. So my lieutenant's on a down order. I won't be able to get to him because we know this is the last turn. We're just doing some moves here because he's got a chance to try to kill my lieutenant. I had that small squad down there in the ambush, so I go ahead and fire at that just to put a pin on him to affect his shooting. And I do. And he's going to fire at my lieutenant. So now we're just trying to score our bonus points because we know we're not going to be able to just get a victory. And I'm down small team, and he puts a pin on me. He scores a hit on a super, and he doesn't kill me because I'm a regular. I'm like, oh my god. So I advance these guys up, and I ignore the one that already fired, and I'm going to try to put a pin on those guys. I probably should have went in ambush to do the same thing. I told him that right after he did it. I said, oh, I should have just went in ambush and put a pin on you to affect your shooting. But it doesn't have much of a shot with these guys. I think he's going to have to try to climb up on this hill a little bit. Even these 2 guys have rifles, and they try to fire at him. Then those guys are going to try to fire at him. And, yeah, so a long story short, he's not going to be able to get my lieutenant dead. But he killed a HQ model because he killed the helper, which is an HQ model. That's what it said. So we both get a draw, 12 points plus the 1-point kicker. My opponent was great. We had a good time. We didn't have any rules issues or rules questions that came up at all. We talked everything out ahead of time before we did it. It was just his board was really not good for my trucks. It's like, boy, if I would have had half tracks, that would have made a huge difference. Yeah, you can't run through rough ground with half tracks, but at least you can drive through it. And I could have put something in outflank and then kept him from mobbing the middle, which was basically the way, you know, this table's geared up. I guess I could have. Another thing I could have maybe done was try to overload one side and ignore the other side completely, and then have my reserves come in and then defend against that side. But yeah, so that's that. I've got a few pictures here. I'm gonna take a look at those. Here's a picture from kind of end game. You can see my squad on that downed aircraft, and my lieutenant still alive there. My truck, I think it got immobilized, just stuck there. No, yeah, maybe immobilized. My AA gun, that was, I mean, a fluke shot, needing a 6 sort of, but I could have made it worse for him if I would have been in a better spot. He couldn't even have shot at me. I could have just been a threat. Well, I focused my infantry in one particular spot. Yeah, I did a lot of things wrong this game, I have to say. Looks like a picture of the same thing. Maybe the turn before. Yeah, turn before I moved up and finished off his squad. Yeah, you can see that water cutting across the middle. Man, I should have been on the side he's on, and then I could have drove my trucks right over the hill and come in. Even if I came in from reserve, I could have came up the middle. Here I couldn't do anything hardly. That water wrapped all the way over. Oh, here's a nice little picture of the Soviet mob coming up the hill. My German grenadiers had at that time gone over the back on the other side, and they were just waiting. I think I put them in ambush just to wait. and keep them at bay. So yeah, there's quite a bit of guys that's starting to pour up the hill, getting ready to pour over. And I got one more picture here, and that's up around the aircraft there. My 2 squads. Couldn't finish off that lieutenant, unfortunately, but sometimes that happens. So I ended up with a draw, getting ready to take a break, and then we'll be back on the next day for game 4 and 5. Not feeling too bad about my performance, so doing alright, I think. Still in the hunt. Alright, thanks for watching.